Hello there, Senators, and welcome back to the channel. After watching episode 5 of Ahsoka, I'm convinced that Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm might change this iconic scene from the Book of Boba Fett.
No, it can't be.
In this video, I'm going to discuss this change and share with you what I think is going on. I have to give Mike, a guy who loves Star Wars, a shout out because this discussion took place in his Discord. I'll place a link to his channel and my Discord in the description. Okay, do you remember that incredible scene between Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker in the Book of Boba Fett? Well, based on how the last episode of Ahsoka ended, I'm starting to wonder if Dave Filoni might be changing his own episode in the Book of Boba Fett. Before we get into my speculation, let's quickly review that moment from the Book of Boba Fett where we first saw Luke and Ahsoka together.
So much like your father.
What should I do about him?
Trust your instincts.
Will I see you again?
Perhaps. May the Force be with you.
I have to start by saying this scene is absolutely incredible. It's even better than I remember, and in light of the recent episode 5 of Ahsoka, it confirms that Dave Filoni should 1000% be writing and directing everything Star Wars. But could he be changing his own episode in the Book of Boba Fett? At the end of Ahsoka episode 5, we see Ahsoka turn into Ahsoka the White. She returns to the cheery and snippy version of herself, similar to how we see her in the Clone Wars. Now, I was under the impression that the scene between Ahsoka and Luke took place before Ahsoka turned into Ahsoka the White, but now I'm left with questions. I'm not entirely sure when the Luke and Ahsoka scene takes place, and I have a few theories, but nothing seems to be adding up. So after Ahsoka defeats Morgan and Elsbeth in The Mandalorian Season 2, we are led to believe Ahsoka discovers the location of the star map we see in her show. I would assume this takes place within the span of a few days. That is, Ahsoka meets the Mandalorian Grogu on Corvus and flies her ship into the mouth of the Purrgil within a few days, at most a few weeks. Why would Ahsoka wait to go find the location of the star map? She's trying to stop the return of Thrawn. But if Ahsoka is Ahsoka the Grey in the Book of Boba Fett, that would make it seem like Ahsoka finds Luke and Grogu only after a few days of Din Djarin and Grogu being separated. This seems unlikely, but it's not necessarily impossible. We don't actually know how long Din Djarin and Grogu were separated. Jon Favreau has mentioned it was years, but that has never been officially confirmed to my knowledge. However, I would say it's not likely that the Book of Boba Fett takes place before The Mandalorian. That would mean, then, that Ahsoka will likely go to the new galaxy of Peridea and return to meet Luke Skywalker, Din Djarin, and Grogu as we see in the Book of Boba Fett. But she's not in her white robes. Some have said she could just change clothes, but I think this would be a bummer. We see Ahsoka undergo a significant character change in episode 5 of her show, and her white robes signify this change. I think from this point on, as we see her in Ahsoka, she will continue to wear her white robes. So if the Ahsoka episode in the Book of Boba Fett takes place after Ahsoka goes to the new galaxy, they would be slightly deviating away from Ahsoka the White, although her character would be the same. Something also doesn't make sense here though. Luke asks, "Will I ever see you again?" And Ahsoka replies, "Perhaps." It kind of seems like Ahsoka may be taking off into the new galaxy, but we already said this scene takes place after she turns into Ahsoka the White. And what about Thrawn? Wouldn't Ahsoka have told Luke about Thrawn? Luke doesn't seem to be in any hurry to confront Thrawn or prepare for his arrival. What if something else is going on here? Before I share my theory, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications for more Ahsoka speculation. And as a reminder, I go live on Monday and Wednesday nights, so come join me for some fun Star Wars speculation. Okay, first, what if Dave Filoni and Lucasfilm CGI Ahsoka's white robes into the Book of Boba Fett? This would be completely in line with Star Wars, as George Lucas has gone in and changed different things in the original and prequel trilogies, like Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope and Grandmaster Yoda in The Phantom Menace. I think this would be so cool, and it would help maintain the continuity of Ahsoka's character. The Ahsoka we see in the Book of Boba Fett is undoubtedly Ahsoka the White, so it would be a bummer if she wasn't in her white robes. The other possibility is maybe they scrap these scenes altogether. Now this would absolutely be insane, and I don't think they will go this route. But can you imagine if they just removed the scenes with Ahsoka and Luke in that episode? I will say the interaction between Ahsoka and Din Djarin in this episode is closer to the Ahsoka the Grey we see in the Ahsoka show, so they could leave these scenes. But what if they take away the Luke and Ahsoka scenes, and Dave changes and reimagines this scene? Perhaps we could see a new version at the end of Ahsoka. Regardless, I think we could see some big changes to this iconic moment in the Book of Boba Fett. Imagine if Lucasfilm goes in and changes Ahsoka's appearance to make her appear as Ahsoka the White. I'm convinced the scene takes place after the Ahsoka show, and I'm excited to see how Dave works everything together. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and like if you haven't already. It would really help me out. For now, Senators, this meeting is adjourned. May the Force be with you, always.